The history between the city of Grand Forks and the railroad goes all the way back to the 1880s. That's when the Great Northern and the Northern Pacific Railroads made their way through town. For over 130 years, the railroad has been a part of the landscape of Grand Forks, despite things like historic floods, increased air travel, and the implementation of the interstate system. Now, a new era is starting between the city and the railroad, and this one will be much quieter. This has been the sound associated with trains going through Grand Forks. But now, after years of work, the city of Grand Forks will be making certain railroad intersections quiet zones, which means that Burlington Northern Santa Fe trains will no longer be required to blow their train whistles when approaching these intersections within the city.
I think quality of life is so important, and people's sleep certainly adds to quality of life, and having quiet zones will certainly improve the quality of life in people.
So for the price of approximately $400,000, and for the quiet it brings, and just I think a lot of people they'll sleep better. I know that. And then just for the businesses in general, I think the ones that are really close, they'll appreciate the fact they don't have to stop doing what they're doing every time a train comes by.
The Federal Railroad Administration has a ranking for every crossing. This ranking is determined by many factors, including the number of trains that go through the intersection, the number of cars that go through the intersection, and what safety measures are already in place. Now, all of these factors are placed into a formula to get a number. If that number does not reach a certain threshold, the trains have to blow their whistles at that intersection. Now, with this information, the city can determine what they need to do at each intersection in order to keep the train whistles quiet.
We're very fortunate here in Grand Forks is that our trains are either coming into the yard or leaving the yard, and there's a speed limit. So we were only required to do medians and signing, and that includes pedestrian signing that warns everyone that there's no train horn. And then the medians that are installed at the crossings prevent people from trying to go around vehicles that are already there and then go the wrong way down the street and then try to get through where the gate isn't. The quiet zone does not mean that the bells are not going to go off. So they still will have lights, they will still have bells. So it's just the quiet of the horn on the train.
This map shows the rail lines that go through Grand Forks. In the downtown area, the intersections at South 3rd Street, South 4th Street, and South 5th Street will all be quiet zones. Along Demers Avenue, the intersections at 42nd Street, along with the crossings by the Amtrak station on Demers Avenue and North 55th Street, will all go quiet. Finally, the intersections that go along North 42nd Street will be quiet. These crossings include University Avenue, 6th Avenue North, and Gateway Drive. Now, you've probably noticed that I didn't mention the rail line that goes up to the State Mill. These intersections will not be quiet zones, and the trains will continue to blow their whistles when traveling through these crossings.
The money that's involved in trying to do that one, it was going to be several millions of dollars. So we proceeded with the ones that we could at this time.
In Grand Forks, this process started many years ago, with several different plans to make the safety measure additions to the crossings. But not all of these plans were feasible.
We did the initial study, and it was years ago, and it was millions of dollars. It was just not feasible. We didn't have that kind of money. Then a few years ago, they've changed some of the rules of what had to be done, what didn't have to be done. And when that came into effect, in combination with some state money that we came across, $225,000 that the state allocated for us, those two things made the change.
Now that the quiet zones are in place, that doesn't mean that an engineer can't blow the train whistle if they feel it's necessary.
In an emergency, they will sound that horn if they see something that they think is a hazard and they need to warn somebody.
And these quiet zones are designed to help with quality of life, but safety still is first. So do realize to be cognizant of where you are and the status of trains, and know that those berms are set up to keep you safe, and those crossbars are set up to keep you safe as well.
For more information about quiet zones, log on to grandforksgov.com or call the Public Information Center at 746-INFO. That's 746-4636.